Okay, so I was finally able to put an e-collar on Coco. She did a little bit of treadmill training, and she was tired enough where I could put a collar, shave her neck to be able to get contact point. At this point, I'm still on the fence whether or not I want to put a muzzle on her. I think I might be able to stop her nonsense, or her crate aggression and her resource guarding with just an e-collar to kind of snap her out of it. She's a Husky. She's very vocal. So you're going to see me use the remote, and you're going to see her throw probably a big fit, but you're going to see how it knocks her out of that aggression right away. And I'm going to start low because when I was testing her and utilizing the levels, she responded fairly well at a level 15. So I'm guessing she's not going to need a lot of higher corrections. I just need something for me to be able to snap her out of it so that I can safely get a leash on her, so then I can communicate with her better. Right? So here we go. So e-collar's out, set to 20 already. I'm going to open up the kennel door. As soon as she turns around, she's probably going to growl, and then I'll start correcting if I need. Beautiful. So this is huge progress. She's just looking now. She's not growling or anything. Beautiful. Hi, girl. Hello. Awesome. All right. I'm going to try to put collar on her, see what she does. So that was a growl. She got a correction out of 20. I'm going to go to 30 now. So the nice thing about all these things is that if you're stopping these things early, at a growl, at a lip, you're going to stop the resource guarding, the lunging, the snapping, the reactivity, right? Nice, beautiful. Awesome. So notice I still have the collar ready set at a 30, and I still have a pretty good handle on the leash. And at this point, once a dog has a leash, it's very rare that they're able to bite a handler who knows how to properly utilize a leash, because I could just stand up and put pressure like this, right? So it's very rare that they bite, that they're able to get you. So utilize some affection, some collar stuff, because again, she came in like I couldn't. During the eval, she went after me because I was trying to put a collar on her. So just kind of desensitizing. I don't want to do too much negative motivation now. And I also need for her to be able to be comfortable getting collars on and off, because kennel staff uses slip leads to be able to take them out. Beautiful. Awesome. So that was a success. It was only one correction out of 20, and that was just to stop the growling, to not let her kind of get on top of things. So that's really good. So the biggest thing with pups in the kennel is you're working with a lot of social pressure, right? That eye contact, that you're staring them in. And she's 3 years old. She was rescued, and we don't know really what happened in the past. So it's super important to start building positive experiences. So we've gotten to the point where I'm able to get in the kennel, get her out. But a lot of it, again, being very patient and building everything. So at the beginning, I would open up the kennel. She would already be coming at me. This time, I'm going to work on having her come to me. Instead of me rushing and now she's turned away, I'm putting pressure and automatically she's gonna come and snap at me, I'm just gonna come let her come my way. But this is the patience part of a little bit of the dog training kind of that we need to do. Not everything has to be so rushed, right? Sometimes at the beginning for my safety, I'm putting in a slip lead and I'm barely kind of getting in and I'm just trying to kind of lasso them in and then get them out so that I can start working them. But once we reach a different level in training, I want to make sure to start building that relationship. So I need to let the dog come to me. Because right now, if I rush her, she's not going to be very happy. And then that trust that we've been building is going to break. So at this point, I can open up the door. I have the leash. I already have a flat buckle on her so that I can attach the leash when she decides to come forward. And I'm still kind of going to keep the door a little bit halfway open so she's not bolting out. She's not a bolter, so I'm not worried about that specifically with her. But I still want to be cautious because I don't want her running out and then getting out of the kennel or getting into it with another dog. So there's still a safety aspect. I'm not doing the whole knee guarding thing that I've taught you guys before, but it is still, you know, kind of just holding the door here, letting him come to me, creating a little bit of affection, and then let's go to work. It's not always that super fast paced, right? So here we go. Hey, come on, girl. Come on. Coco. Come on, girl. Hey, let's go to work. Come on. Come on. Coco. Come on. Coco. Come on, Coco. Come on. Let's go, Coco. Coco. Come on, girl. Come on, girl. Come on, girl. Coco, come on. Oh, that's a good girl. Come on. Yes, that's a good girl. That's a good girl. So before we had a dog that was coming out and growling me. Now she's rolling over and being a little bit submissive. So this is on the other extreme where I want to be very careful on how I approach her and how much I'm rewarding for this. Because as much as I don't want a jerk of a dog where they're coming out of the kennel and growling and lunging, I also don't want a very submissive dog. So I give her a little bit of affection for coming towards me, but I'm not gonna rush in and do everything because she doesn't like that social pressure. So this is something that we have to be very patient with. Right? Specifically for Coco, because that's what she's in for, right? When she came in, it was very much an aggression case that very quickly turned into just a dog that doesn't like social pressure that's used her mouth before. So I wouldn't really classify this as an aggression case. It's more just of a nonsense behavior / communication issue, right? Hey, girl. Hi, girl. Hello. Hi. Come on. Come on. Come on. Coco, come on. Let's go. Come on. That's a good girl. Yeah. Oh, stretchies. Oh, stretchies. This is what I was looking for, right? I want her to start learning to come to me so that I can put the leash on instead of me trapping her, which is what's been happening with her, right? A lot of the things with her are, I know, baby girl, I know. A lot of the things with her came every time like a hand would be over or a leash would be over, she automatically would get, she would get very mouthy. So it's, and even now you can see that I'm still being super careful. A lot of it is just creating positive experiences. So a lot of underneath affection where we're not coming on top of her, right? And then once I have that leash and that guidance, now Again, back to, good girl, yeah. We're still gonna do our kennel manners, so open door doesn't mean go. And then once we have her good, beautiful. Then from here, we can go on and do our training. But this is something that I'm gonna cover extensively with mom and dad, where she doesn't feel comfortable in the kennel for whatever past experiences, and it's super important not to rush this step because this is where a lot of their relationship and foundation is built. So day one, she was going after me, after the squeegee that was in the kennel for me to kind of get her to get away from things, and then now she's realizing to come up and stand with me. But I'm also being patient and not pushing and saying, hey, let's go, we gotta work, we got other things to do, we gotta train, we gotta train, we gotta train. Like, this is a huge kind of leap forward in relationship building. So super, super, super important to build this first and build that stress and kind of foundation, and then go from there, right? You ready? All right, come on, girl. That's a good girl. All right, so once we get her out of the kennel, it's pretty much wearing her out, both mentally and physically, right? So I usually put specifically COCO for about 15 or 20 minutes at this pace, and then probably 5 minutes like really going, and then another 5 minutes of cool down. So 30-ish minutes kind of every day, just to kind of get all that negative energy, all that negative loading kind of out of the way, and then I'm able to work her. This also allows me to be able to start desensitizing. So she doesn't like her neck, her back being touched. It was something that she had a lot of issues with, right? And I can grab a food, like a food bowl, and like touch her, feed her, touch her, feed her, touch her, feed her. The problem is that because she had already used to learn her mouth, she would be very snappy, right? Don't touch me, don't touch me, don't do this. A treadmill allows me to be able to desensitize without having to bribe her with food. Meaning as she's walking, a little bit of affection, and she freaks out, but the treadmill keeps moving, so she doesn't have time to think about it. And after some time, I'm able to touch her back, her ears, her neck, with no problem, right? And then I can turn the treadmill off and then do a little bit more. And because she's had that sensation with nothing bad happening, again, it becomes a good experience. So for her, it wasn't so much, I'm an aggressive dog, get the hell away from me. It's, I've had bad experiences, I know what you're gonna do, I'm not gonna let you come near me. So it was more of a building trust and relationship, right? And then we can go from there, right? So I'm gonna time lapse this a little bit, and then I'll show you guys how I start putting collars on and off, okay? All right, so now that she's completed some treadmill time, we built a little bit of trust and we were able to get her out. Now I'm gonna show you guys how to be able to get the collars on and off, and how even after a week and a half, she's still very uncomfortable. But there's a huge difference between her going after me in the kennel and just being uncomfortable. So the whole goal is to create positive experience. Now I did shave 2 sides on her neck, so that I can put an e-collar, especially for dogs like COCO, Huskies, Malamutes, German Shepherds, pretty much double-coated dogs. The prongs on the e-collar are going to be super, super, super short. So you want to shave about a 2 by 2 inch by 2 inch kind of squares on each side, and then install the longer tips. That way, when the hair starts growing back, you're still going to have a little bit of contact point. She's already learned to climb, obviously, because she's on here. The more elevated she is, the better this is going to be. And again, this is specifically for COCO because she's had negative experiences with collars on and off, right? Even like during the eval, she had like a huge collar, and I couldn't even put anything on her. She slipped right out of it. So I have her for Coco, a pinch collar is actually too much. So she's just wearing just a biothane flat buckle collar that I'm able to give pops with. And then right underneath, she's got an e-collar, right? Well, one of the big telltale signs when a dog is uncomfortable and they're getting ready to use their mouth is they stop everything that they're doing, they freeze and or side-eye you, and then probably the biggest is they close their mouth. So I want you to notice how she's still panting and she's pretty comfortable, and then I start touching her lower sides, and you could see she starts freezing and getting uncomfortable, right? I let go, she starts panting again, right? So be very mindful of these little telltale signs. I can't tell you how many people tell me all the time that they didn't see the dog coming. They bit out of nowhere. There's no such thing. The dog told you he was going to bite you. The dog showed that he was uncomfortable, and you missed every single sign. The problem is that most people aren't looking for it because they're doing this, oh my God, and the dog bit them, and they completely missed every single sign. So almost every single dog is the same. Almost every single person that's going to get into a fight is the same, right? Guys, chest out, fist clenched, right? Moving forward, jaw coming out, shoulders coming out. It's all the same telltale signs. Nobody just goes up to somebody at a bar and then punches them in the face. Doesn't happen. Something happened, right? Somebody bumped into somebody's girlfriend, somebody spilled somebody's beer, somebody said something, some words were exchanged, something happened, right? Come on, sit. Yes. So watch out for these signs, okay? They're there. If a dog lunges out of nowhere, you miss them. Or it's happened so many times that the dog has had so many bad experiences that they're not even going to warn you because they've already had these bad experiences. So when that happens, it's because the dog has already had way too many negative experiences, right? But that's kind of another conversation. Notice every time I'm touching, right? She starts getting real uncomfortable and then starts breathing again. So it's a lot of the treadmill training that I was doing was desensitizing her to that stuff, right? Look at that, right? Watch them. They're there. No dog bites out of nowhere. The other thing that I'm doing with her is I'm giving her affection here, okay? 9 times out of 10, the dog will bite on the side that they're being touched on. So if I start doing all the work here, right, then she's gonna redirect towards me. If anything, I have the leash here, and if she's here, I can still give her a correction or anything. Now we're to a point where we're probably not gonna be able, or not gonna have to give corrections, but I still wanna be ready just in case, right? So for her, the biggest thing is I want to collar up super high and super snug, right? Like I can barely fit 2 fingers through this. It's very, very snug because she's, again, learned to put enough pressure and slide out of the collar. And then second, e-collar. So this is one of the times where I break one of those rules where I want all collars to be up high. The only collar that I want super high, super snug, up around the ears, right up above the chin, is the one that I have the leash controlled. The e-collar, as you can see, is way lower, but I don't care because I have the attachment here. I don't have the attachment here, and I definitely don't have the attachment on a harness, right? So super, 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 super important that where you have the attachment, the leash attachment, that's the highest point of the neck. After this, it doesn't matter what you have. You can have a harness, you can have an e-collar, you can have a pinch, but the leash better not be attached to these things, right? Perfect. So now that we have the equipment, now we can do a little bit of healing, a little bit of training, a little bit. So working on a little bit of slow pace, really slowing everything down. Left turns, which are the hardest ones. Right turns, making sure she follows me. So that's where I, as a handler, father, dad, coach, trainer, need to keep my feet together, right? Because watch what happens if I don't keep my feet together on a right turn. She's going to get corrected unfairly because I'll do this and then I'll put pressure on the leash and she gets corrected unfairly. So it's super important to keep your feet together on those left turns, or on those right turns, I'm sorry. Beautiful. We'll practice a little bit of climbing on the scale here. Climb. Yes. Go. Climb. Yes. So one of the things that I want you to notice is, again, we don't know her past, and she's very iffy about people touching her, right? So we have to be mindful of who's giving her affection and why they're giving her affection. So with her, I want you to notice when I put my hand over her face, her hand, to try to give her affection, notice what happens. Right? So this tells me that she's either been beat with some sort of something, hand, leash, pole, something, which is another reason why she's so sensitive about her neck, back, face being touched. So it's now building and trying to build a bunch of positive experiences where a hand means affection. It doesn't mean we're going to beat the crap out of you, right? Good girl. You. And again, Coco is the type of dog that we're going to need a lot of patience and a lot of work with, right? She'll be spending 2 weeks with us, and it's not 2-week magical transformation. Like, we've come a long way, but mom and dad need to stay super consistent in order to have, long-term results. Because I've built a really solid foundation for them to be able to communicate, but there's a lot more, right? There's a lot more work to do. Climb. Down. Yes. For the people that watched my video on having other people pet your dog, now you understand why. For the people watching this video right now and they're like, I don't know what he's talking about, go watch the video about how I tell people to not pet your dog, not have other people approach your dog with their dogs, and how you can utilize body pressure to get them away from your dog. So Coco is the type of dog that you need to build a relationship with, and she's not going to want affection from other people. So she's a very pretty dog. I had this issue because I have a Husky myself. Those of you who have been following me long enough know that my first dog was a Siberian Husky, and I still have her, right? She's 6 years old now. And she's super cute. She's 32 pounds. She looks like a puppy. She's got one blue eye, and everywhere where I take her, people want to give her affection. She had an aggression problem, right? We've come a long way, and I've worked with her for years, and we don't have that issue anymore. But Coco sort of has the same issues. And a lot of this stems from the good girl, the things that happen the first 3 years of her life that we don't know. So now it's building a bunch of positive experiences. So for a pup like Coco, it's super important to not have people give her affection, right? Only the household folks, so that they can build that. And then maybe later on, she can get affection from other people. But it's taken me 2 weeks to be able, or a week and a half to be able to do this. You definitely don't want somebody, oh my God, that's such a cute dog, putting their hands to try to go pet this dog. She doesn't like it and then uses her mouth to kind of push them away. And then she's at fault, or mom and dad are at fault because they have an aggressive dog. When it was really the other person that put too much pressure, she wasn't comfortable with it, and she told him, you know, hey, I feel uncomfortable. So super, super, super important to build that relationship with your dog first before you let other people do that, right? Good girl. She's good. Awesome. So hope you guys enjoyed this video, guys. Hopefully it was very informative. Coco is definitely a special case where she doesn't need a lot of negative reinforcement, right? Like she didn't need a pinch collar. Her working levels on the e-collar are pretty low when she wants to abide, right? But this was more of just misunderstood dog that had bad experiences that we needed to build our relationship. And now we're able to sit next to each other, and I can give affection. We're in the middle of a vet hospital, and we're okay. So loved working with her. Hope you guys enjoyed the kind of the transformation. Now it's time to train the parents.